Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. Just checking to see if I am live. Yes, I am. How wonderful. Welcome, everybody. Just waiting for a minute for people to pop on and join us. So, welcome. Welcome, everybody. It's so nice to see you. Tonight, we have the opportunity to come together for sitting meditation, breathing meditation, and tonight we're also going to recite the 5 mindfulness trainings this evening. That's why I'm joining on Zoom tonight and not just right on the Facebook Live. I'm streaming from Zoom tonight because I'm going to share my screen so that we can recite the 5 mindfulness trainings together. So, um, wondering how your day has gone today. It's Thursday, March 4th, and we're coming to the close of another wonderful day. I hope your day has been very well, very good. Um, so, this evening, I thought we could start off with a song. I mean, why not, right? um, So there is a song by Joanne Friday, who is a Dharma teacher that just passed away recently. We miss her so very much, but we love her spirit, and her spirit is still with us. So she had this song that she would always sing, and she wrote the lyrics to. It's called A Tidal Wave of Love, and it goes like this. Just like pebbles, you and me send our ripples over the sea till I know I'm you and you know you're me. Then those ripples combine to become a tidal wave of love, a tidal wave of love. All right, join me, please. Just like pebbles, you and me send our ripples over the sea till I know I'm you and you know you're me. Then those ripples combine to become a tidal wave of love, a tidal wave of love, a tidal wave of love. Yay! So tonight we can now move into our first seated meditation of the evening. So I'd like to invite you to get into a nice, comfortable position. I'm just going to check the Facebook and see if we have any comments or anybody checking in with us. It Oh yes, we have somebody here. Hi. We have Guyate. I hope I'm saying that right. Guyate, nice to see you. Thank you for joining us. So, if in case you are new to mindfulness meditation, I just wanted to share a few tips, I guess I'll say. Um, so, when we are getting ready for a seated meditation, the goal is never to just push away the thoughts or the emotions or the feelings that we may have inside of us. The goal is to be in true relationship with what is really happening. So if we're tired, I'm feeling a little tired from my day. So if I'm feeling a little tired from my day, I'll breathe and I'll just sit with my tiredness and all that that entails. Maybe my body's tired, maybe I feel heavy. So, I'm not trying to change the fact that I'm tired. I'm not trying to, enliven my spirit or anything like that. I'm sitting and I'm in relationship, true relationship with what is actually going on with me right now. So that's the goal of this meditation tonight, is to just sit and be present to what's coming up. And if something that's a strong motion or a strong feeling that should rise, just allow it to float um, out of our awareness, just like a cloud comes and goes. So when we see, there were some fluffy clouds today, actually. We had a nice blue sky with some fluffy clouds. So with the sky, we just see a fluffy cloud, and before we know it, we don't see that cloud anymore because it just floats on by. So that's the kind of mindset that we have with our thoughts and our emotions and our feelings, to just allow them, acknowledge them, and allow them to move on. Because everything is temporary. So it inevitably, if you wait a minute, something is going to change. And I like to keep these meditations short, especially for newcomers, so that we will do a few short meditations throughout this evening together. And the first one will be guided. So when I invite this bell, this is a bell of mindfulness. And so when we hear the sound of the bell, so when we hear this sound is sort of like a stimulus response. Our body and our minds react to it, and we know that when we hear the sound of the bell, it's an invitation for us to come back to ourselves, to come back to our true home. There are so many things in our day that serve to sort of scatter us and distract us from ourselves and our thoughts and our minds and what we're doing. So, this is a lovely invitation to just come on back. Just come on back and feel the joy that is present when we do come back. And I wanted to give a caveat because if somebody's having a tough day, I talked to somebody earlier that was having a really tough time, and my heart goes out to them. If sitting meditation is not going to work for you tonight because there's just so much going on and it feels like very strong things that are coming up, you can always listen to me and you can do walking meditation. If we were together at the Uxbridge Library tonight, we would be doing walking meditation. And walking meditation is just meditation in motion. When we walk, we're mindful of every step. And we kiss, Thich Nhat Hanh says, we kiss the ground with our feet. So if you can't sit and it's just a little triggering to sit down and just do nothing, please feel free to walk. Walk mindfully, walk slowly, and find your breath in the midst of all of that. So, for those who would like to do a seated meditation, I'm going to start leading that right now. I'm going to start with a guided meditation, and then we're going to go into a seated silent meditation for a very little while. And I'll invite this bell 3 times. I'd like to invite you to find 3 breaths. So 3 inhales, 3 exhales in between each invitation of the bell. So that's 9 breaths. How about that? And we enjoy our in breath and we enjoy our out breath. Nowhere to go and nothing to do. So let's begin. Body, speech, and mind in perfect oneness. We send our hearts out along with the sound of this bell. May all who hear it awaken from forgetfulness and transcend all anxiety and sorrow. Breathing in, I know that I am breathing in. Breathing out, I know that I am breathing out. In, out. Breathing in, I follow my in breath from its very beginning to its very end. Breathing out, I follow my out breath from its very beginning to its very end. In, out, beginning, end. Breathing in, I stop and I calm my body. Breathing out, I rest and I heal my body. Stopping, calming, resting, healing. So we'll now move into a period of silent meditation until the next sound of the bell. So now I'm going to invite the small bell for stretching and massage. So go ahead and stretch your body from sitting down. Yes, moving the body. Feels so nice. Wonderful. So now we're coming to this time in our time together to recite the 5 mindfulness trainings. So let's do that. I will share my screen. That's why I chose Zoom tonight. So here we are. I can't make my thing bigger. Oh, yes, I can. All right. Hi, I'm big. I'm big in the corner. So here we go. The 5 mindfulness trainings. Um, we are going to read about them first because I wonder if you have you ever heard of these before? They're from Thich Nhat Hanh's Order of Interbeing, which is engaged Buddhism. So, the 5 mindfulness trainings are one of the most concrete ways to practice mindfulness. They are non sectarian and their nature is universal. They are true practices of compassion and understanding. All spiritual traditions have their equivalent to the 5 mindfulness trainings. The first training is to protect life, to decrease violence in oneself, in the family, and in society. The second training is to practice social justice, generosity, not stealing, and not exploiting other living beings. The third is the practice of responsible sexual behavior in order to protect individuals, couples, families, and children. The fourth is the practice of deep listening and loving speech to restore communication and reconcile. The fifth is about mindful consumption to help us not bring toxins and poisons into our body or mind. The five mindfulness trainings are based on the precepts developed during the time of the Buddha to be the foundation of practice for the entire lay practice community. I have translated these precepts for modern times because mindfulness is at the foundation of each of them. With mindfulness, we are aware of what is going on in our bodies, our feelings, our minds, and the world, and we avoid doing harm to ourselves and others. Mindfulness protects us, our families, and our society. When we are mindful, we can see that by refraining from doing one thing, we can prevent another thing from happening. We arrive at our own unique insight. It is not something imposed on us by an outside authority. Practicing the mindfulness trainings, therefore, helps us to be more calm and concentrated and brings more insight and enlightenment. And these words are from Thich Nhat Hanh from the book Happiness. So, with that, let's start our recitation. And if we were together, I would delegate to the room, one person per mindfulness training to read it. So, tonight it's okay. I'll read it. I'll read it for us. The first mindfulness training, reverence for life. Aware of the suffering caused by the destruction of life, I'm committed to cultivating the insight of interbeing and compassion and learning ways to protect the lives of people, animals, plants, and minerals. I am determined not to kill, not to let others kill, and not to support any act of killing in the world, in my thinking, or in my way of life. Seeing that harmful actions arise from anger, greed, fear, and intolerance, which in turn come from dualistic and discriminative thinking, I will cultivate openness, non discrimination, and non attachment to views in order to transform violence, fanaticism, and dogmatism in myself and in the world. This is the first of the five mindfulness trainings. Have we made an effort to practice it in the past month? The second mindfulness training, true happiness. Aware of the suffering caused by exploitation, social injustice, stealing, and oppression, I am committed to practicing generosity in my thinking, speaking, and acting. I am determined not to steal and not to possess anything that should belong to others. I will share my time, energy, and material resources with those who are in need. I will practice looking deeply to see that the happiness and suffering of others are not separate from my own happiness and suffering. That true happiness is not possible without understanding and compassion, and that running after wealth, fame, power, and sensual pleasures can bring much suffering and despair. I am aware that happiness depends on my mental attitude and not on external conditions, and that I can live happily in the present moment simply by remembering that I already have more than enough conditions to be happy. I am committed to practicing right livelihood so that I can help reduce the suffering of living beings on earth and reverse the process of global warming. This is the second of the 5 mindfulness trainings. Have we made an effort to practice it in the past month? The third mindfulness training, true love. Aware of the suffering caused by sexual misconduct, I am committed to cultivating responsibility and learning ways to protect the safety and integrity of individuals, couples, families, and society. Knowing that sexual desire is not love and that sexual activity motivated by craving always harms myself as well as others, I am determined not to engage in sexual relations without true love and a deep, long term commitment made known to my family and friends. I will do everything in my power to protect children from sexual abuse and to prevent couples and families from being broken by sexual misconduct. Seeing that mind and body are one, I am committed to learning appropriate ways to take care of my sexual energy and cultivating loving kindness, compassion, joy, and inclusiveness, which are the 4 basic elements of true love. For my greater happiness and the greater happiness of others. Practicing true love, we know that we will continue beautifully into the future. This is the third of the 5 mindfulness trainings. Have we made an effort to practice it in the past month? The fourth mindfulness training, loving speech and deep listening. Aware of the suffering caused by unmindful speech and the inability to listen to others, I am committed to cultivating loving speech and compassionate listening in order to relieve the suffering and to promote in order to relieve suffering and to promote reconciliation and peace in myself and among other people, ethnic and religious groups, and nations. Knowing that words can create happiness or suffering, I am committed to speaking truthfully, using the words, using words that inspire confidence, joy, and hope. When anger is manifesting in me, I am determined not to speak. I will practice mindful breathing and walking in order to recognize and to look deeply into my anger. I know that the roots of anger can be found in my wrong perceptions and lack of understanding of the suffering in myself and in the other person. I will speak and listen in a way that can help myself and the other person to transform suffering and see the way out of difficult situations. I am determined not to spread news that I do not know to be certain and not to utter words that can cause division or discord. I will practice right diligence to nourish my capacity for understanding, love, joy, and inclusiveness, and gradually transform anger, violence, and fear that lie deep in my consciousness. This is the fourth of the 5 mindfulness trainings. Have we made an effort to practice it in the past month? The fifth mindfulness training, nourishment and healing. Aware of the suffering caused by unmindful consumption, I am committed to cultivating good health, both physical and mental, for myself, my family, and my society by practicing mindful eating, drinking, and consuming. I will practice looking deeply into how I consume the four kinds of nutriments, namely edible foods, sense impressions, volition, and consciousness. I am determined not to gamble or to use alcohol, drugs, or any other products which contain toxins, such as certain websites, electronic games, TV programs, films, magazines, books, and conversations. I will practice coming back to the present moment to be in touch with the refreshing, healing, and nourishing elements in me and around me, not letting regrets and sorrow drag me back to the past, nor letting anxieties, fear, or craving pull me out of the present moment. I am determined not to try to cover up loneliness, anxiety, or other suffering by losing myself in consumption. I will contemplate interbeing and consume in a way that preserves peace, joy, and well being in my body and consciousness, and in the collective body and consciousness of my family, my society, and the earth. This is the fifth of the five mindfulness trainings. Have we made an effort to practice it in the past month? So, thank you, dear friends, for being with me as we recite the five mindfulness trainings. Um, so, I just wanted to follow that up by saying that the five mindfulness trainings are not commandments. They are a way to, um, I think my Dharma teacher, Joanne Friday, who I was referencing at the beginning of um, this mindfulness meditation practice, she said the five mindfulness trainings were guardrails to keep us on the path. So I like to think of them as that too. They're not commandments. If we don't follow them perfectly, we'll be in big trouble. That's not true. There's no Dharma police, as Joanne often said too. So there's no one checking up on you. And Dharma teacher Larry Ward likes to say, the goal is you. The goal is you because all we have is our actions and our deeds. They are our only legacy and our only property. So, um, yeah, that is all we have. So, I find these mindfulness trainings to be very helpful for me, myself, staying on the path. And how I don't always remember these five mindfulness trainings because there's a lot of words and a lot of concepts. But at sanghas, it's agreed upon that in a sangha, sangha just means mindfulness community in the Buddhist tradition. It's agreed upon that sanghas read the five mindfulness trainings at least once a month. So think about that. If you're going to attend sangha, inevitably you are going to read the five mindfulness trainings 12 times a year, right? Because there's 4 weeks in a month, and if you're going to read them once a month, then, you know, so with that being said, you know, you practice hearing them and hearing them and hearing them, and sooner or later, they're going to get in there. Some of the phrases now when I read them, it's like, "Oh yeah, yes, I remember this." And it's like a familiar friend. So that's what we're doing here, friends. We're practicing. So with that, let's do another seated meditation to close out this evening. I'd like to invite you to get into a nice, comfortable position, somewhere before between restful and wakeful. And I'll invite the bell 3 times, and then we'll go into a silent meditation until I invite the bell again. So just find your breath, breathing in, breathing out. small bell for stretching and massage. Let me invite it again. That was weak. Shouldn't say that. Yay. Woo. Stretching. Well, dear friends, thank you so much for devoting this time to yourself. Mindfulness is a practice, and just sitting in meditation is also a practice. So the more we do it, I feel like the better we feel. Because I was feeling tired before and I feel so energized now. So thank you so so much for joining. In like I said in the little chat box description for this video, coming up we have on March 18th we have another mindfulness practice. We've been chipping away at our book called Being Peace. I think it's upstairs. Yeah, I didn't bring it downstairs. We're on chapter 5 of Being Peace. There's only 7 chapters in the whole book, so doesn't it feel good, like, to do a book that only has 7 chapters? Because 'Cause you're like, "Yeah, I'm almost done." But actually, it's just so satisfying to finish a book. That's what I really meant to say. But actually, I just want this book to last forever because this book is just so amazing to read. Every single page is, like, chock full of amazing aha moments for me. So each chapter is like jam packed with awesome stuff. So Thich Nhat Hanh is just so amazing. So again, the book is Being Peace, and March 18th we're doing chapter 5. April 15th we're doing chapter 6. But in the middle there, on April 1st, on April Fool's Day, we're gonna do mindful eating and drinking, and I love doing that. We did that last month, and basically you bring a plate of food with you, like snacky food, like really good tasting food too, like chocolate or like a peanut butter rice cake or fruit. And then you bring some tea, some hot tea, or a beverage. If you don't like tea, you can just bring a hot beverage, a cold beverage, whatever you want. And I will be joining again from Zoom. If you want the Zoom link, please let me know. You can private message me. My name is Jenny Z. I'm on Facebook. And I will send you the Zoom link so you can join me live. Um, but otherwise, I will be streaming here on the Uxbridge Library Facebook page. And we will be watching some videos from Dharma teachers about mindful eating and drinking. And then we'll be also just practicing mindful eating and drinking together. So it'll be a really great evening. So, with that, dear friends, I hope you have a really great night and I hope you take care. Have a great rest of your week. Bye bye.